Welcome everyone, my name is David Bowler and I'm the creator of SKY GODZ. It has been a while since my last update, actually pretty much a year. Just because I haven't updated YouTube doesn't mean I didn't work on a project. Actually, a lot of things have happened. So let me just go over some of the things with you and let's see what's going on. But first of all, I want to thank my lovely patrons for their support. It's really appreciated and it really helps. A.V. Stotts, Becca Truly Stewart, Emma Sims, Julie, Karina Klaas, Lisa McCormick, Lynn Rinders, Nika Rodolfo Navorio. I am making this a podcast, a voice video only because I'm going to have so many images and so many videos and so many other things to share with you. So we're going to do like a regular video update on a later date. Also, I have a Q&A planned that's going to go up in a few days. Basically just some of the questions that have come in on social media. I think it's some of the things are very interesting and some things are just a little kooky and a little crazy, but I think you're going to get a kick out of it. I'm going to basically do this update in 3 sections. I'm going to do the business first, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about the story, and at the end we're going to show some of the artwork and just see what changes have been done in the art department. I think business is probably going to be the least interesting for most of you guys, so I'm definitely going to make another video on this because so much happened in the last year that it's actually unbelievable. And that video that I've posted about a year and a half ago about distribution, I can pretty much take that off. Pretty much none of the stuff that I've talked about in that video still has any kind of validity. So let's start with the distribution and just general state of the business. As I've talked about in previous videos, I've been looking for some kind of investment. I've been talking to people. I've written 3 different business plans. But quite frankly, most people that work in traditional business don't really understand what it is that I have in mind with SKY GODZ. It's just a little too out there for the average citizen. And I think once they see the visuals and once they see the whole project wrapped up, I think it's going to be okay. But until then, yeah, it's going to be like kind of tough. So basically I decided, as I said, even last year, I'm going to go ahead anyway, because frankly, I don't really need anybody and I can pretty much do everything myself with help of some friends. And so we're basically just going to go ahead regardless of that. However, it is still very important, and actually that is the question that comes up a lot. Where can I see this at the end of the day? And when you talk about streaming services, when you talk about television stations, just about any outlet other than YouTube, you need to usually have somebody else involved, some kind of aggregator distributor, and so on and so on. And there have been some shakeouts in the distribution area. One of the companies that I was looking at, that's called Distributor, not Distributor. Distributor went bankrupt last October, and that was actually the largest of the smaller independent distributors. And they pretty much stole about tens of millions of dollars from independent filmmakers, which was very, very sad. There's actually a Facebook group that was created just for that incident alone. And actually that took a rat's tail of problems with it. There's lots of other distributors that also went out of business. So the distribution space has gotten a lot smaller, basically. So it is really important for me that everybody in the world can see the project, not just local people or like people that live in Europe and the United States, but also people in Asia and South America. Especially South America is going to be very important since there's a lot of people, there who have been following the project. So I'm going to have to create some kind of a multi-tiered situation where, yes, it's going to be an Amazon, probably Amazon Prime, Amazon pay-per-view, but I'm probably also going to make it available over the website, like through something like Vimeo Pro, which used to be called VHX, which is a really cool service. So you can basically embed the video on your website and people can basically watch the video. It's going to be a pay video, of course, but for a nominal fee, they can watch the video directly from your website, which is also cool because it's going to be directly connected to your store. So if somebody really likes the show, they can also buy like a t-shirt or a book or whatever it is that we're going to have on offer. So that's definitely some of the things I'm looking at. But of course, now with the current situation that we have with this whole virus situation, uh, it's gonna be kind of interesting to see how everything shakes out. Now, this is not gonna bother me too much right now because I'm just gonna keep, working on the trailers, on the graphic novels and everything. But more about that later. Also, I am working on some new business models. I think the situation that we're experiencing right now is pretty much a game changer. We see this in the movie space. We see this in the movie theaters. Everything is closed. All the big movie studios are basically fighting for survival, delaying their releases. Nobody really knows what to do. Nobody knows when this is going to end. So everybody's trying to think out of the box, and I think I should be thinking out of the box too. So I'm looking at potential other business models, business ideas on how to release this project. So not going to just dump it all in one place at some time. So we're probably going to look at some kind of incremental release of some form. But definitely stay tuned here. I'm going to be uploading a lot more videos, so you'll always be up to everything. Story-wise, not too much has changed, other than Ashtar has gotten a lot more important, has got a much larger role, especially since he's gotten his own graphic novel. The SKY GODZ universe is basically comprised of 3 basic elements. As I described in a previous video, we have like the ongoing situation on planet Earth. Ongoing, I have to say, this was 200,000 years ago. But basically what has been going on Earth, with the Anunnaki visiting, creating the hybrid beings and all those things. But also, all the races that already have been on Earth, like the Dracos who've been underground, the Nagas, the Nomo, and so on and so on. So basically everything that has been going on Earth. Because of course, Earth is an important part to us because we are all citizens of planet Earth, and no matter how spiritual or how otherworldly we think of ourselves, we're still basically caught in this 3D reality, and Earth is closest to us than anything else. So I think it's really important to sort of just stay close to home, and there's a lot going on Earth, so no problems there. Then, of course, the next big thing is, and that ties directly into Earth, is the dualistic war going on in the universe. The origins of that war have been engineered. So this is not a war that just broke out over a couple little things. And this is a pretty fundamental, pretty deep-seated, deep-rooted war that also, of course, encompasses Earth. And it's been going on for billions and billions of years. So that is really like the big picture. And basically also goes down to the creation of the universe itself. And the third part is the Federation, basically the Galactic Federation, which incorporates the Ashtar Command and Ashtar and all those things. And the cast of the Ashtar Command in my universe has grown to epic proportions. I got at least 40, 50 commanders at this point. And now with the Ashtar graphic novels on the way, which I don't really want to talk too much about, story-wise yet. We're going to get into this at a later point. But the story basically has been written. The first 10-15 pages are on a table, are being worked on, and it's sort of like just kind of like my own version of how I think Ashtar was created, what Ashtar's purpose is. Those 3 things basically very clearly have come out now as sort of like the leading storylines. That wasn't really that clear last year. This is pretty much just from the feedback that I've also gotten on like social media, from the readers and the viewers and everybody just telling me, I like this, what can you do about that, blah, blah. And so I just really sort of put that together from that. But the story of the first season, is pretty much etched in stone. I'm just changing a couple little things, couple little motivational things here and there. But that pretty much has not changed in a year. A lot has happened in terms of the artwork. The style really hasn't changed that much, but just the behind the scenes things in terms of like how things are done, basically, there have been some major epiphanies. One of the things was really that, and that's with just about anything you do digitally these days, is which software are you using, what kind of results are you getting. So the real important part this year basically was that I've put in this sort of combination, this pipeline that I've developed in order to make SKY GODZ happen, which is basically a pipeline of OpenToons as main animation software, replacing Toon Boom, which basically does the same thing, and using After Effects for compositing, Premiere for editing, and Photoshop just about for everything else, backgrounds, storyboards, layouts, and so on and so on. I really put that to the test, and I was able to get like 3 commissioned, just jobs basically, commercials, proof of concepts, animated short films, to just really put that to the test, and also like have clients look at that and basically approve of it, and eventually of course pay me. So that was very important to really sort of get a professional pipeline going and put that to the test and see how long would it really take in a realistic production environment, and what can I really do, what is the result going to be. So basically, as I'm talking in the background, I'm showing you some of the things that I've done last year. It's mostly from 2 projects. The one is a commercial for a local action park, adventure park, and the other one is a proof of concept for an Australian company that I've already done a comic book for, which the project is called a Honey Badger. And it's sort of like a cartoon, TV Saturday morning cartoon style type of thing. But I think it came out pretty damn good for this was like my first work with Open Toons. So now basically that has been put to the test, we can move forward. I'm actually really working on the trailer right now, doing the storyboarding and early layouts. Some of the stuff can be seen on Patreon, and I will post the storyboards and the animatic on Patreon. And animatic is basically nothing else than a sort of like an enhanced, timed out storyboard. I usually, what I do like now, I figured it would be really good, is like do the layouts and then basically have the layouts timed out instead of just the storyboard timed out. So that's a little clearer and a little cleaner looking, and I can literally just take those then into Open Toons and start with the actual animation. The footage of the trailer will be mostly taken from season 1. I don't really want to do footage that's not going to be in season 1, because as in animation, it's not just like that easy to just cut something out and put something else in. Every drawing has to be accounted for. So I suppose that the trailer will probably be between about 1.5 minutes and 2 minutes. And that means that 2 minutes of the show are already done. Yippee. So we got 10% of the first episode down. And once the trailer is done, I will go immediately over to season 1 and just basically continue working on that. Simultaneously, I'm also working on the 2 graphic novels, as I've announced previously here. And I'm going to show you some artwork in the background a little bit. Both of those are still like in early penciling to sketches phases for the first 15 pages each. But there will be the graphic novel SKY GODZ, a disclosure, which basically targets more sort of like the conspiracy end of the SKY GODZ universe, looking at it from a contemporary position, what basically would happen if somebody would find out about everything that happened in the past. Because according to what we believe in these days, there have never been any aliens on this planet. There has been no ancient civilization. None of that, basically. We basically believe that the Earth was created, and then the fish crawled on water, and eventually there was Egyptians. So just like that kind of nonsense. So Disclosure will sort of like look at this from a different angle and sort of roll up on where we really came from a different perspective. The Ashtar graphic novel will basically be a one-shot at this point. Will basically really be the origin of Ashtar. Where did he come from? How did he become the commander of the Galactic Federation, and what are his biggest challenges, fighting the baddies of the universe, so to speak. So that's pretty good fun. The cover of the Ashtar graphic novel is probably gonna be up at the point of this airing. I actually, on Patreon, we had a real fun thing going, where I posted six different sketches for the cover, and the patrons basically can vote on which one they like the best. And we pretty much came up with what I think is going to be an epic cover. And then I posted some more updates. And that's one of the really cool things about Patreon, is that you really can see the things in progress. There's a lot of things I don't post on social media, just because not everybody's interested in that, and most people just want to see pretty pictures. But on Patreon, it's different. The patrons are pretty much just people who are really, really into the project and really want to see everything. So that's the cool thing. So they get to see everything. So that's been sort of like what's been going on. I'm definitely going to be making a lot more videos over the next few weeks. It's not just going to be like a monthly update, especially since I'm producing so much right now. There will be more reasons to post videos. Also, I'm going to do a regular Q&A session. This Q&A session basically comes from messages that I've received on social media, which are actually quite a few. I'm getting pretty much like daily messages from people. There is a mix between sort of like the usual questions, when is the project coming out, where I can see it, and then some more interesting questions, or like more different question in terms of what do I think of this, what do I think of that, what's been my experience with this, and what's been my experience of that. So I'm going to go into a little bit more detail there. I'm also trying to figure out what I'm going to do about the streaming thing. I'm going to wait till I get a little bit more subscriber. But once I get some more subscribers and we get a little better community going, I really do want to do a streaming thing where you can ask me direct questions and we can really do sort of like a back and forth kind of thing, just like a regular streaming shows. I'm sure you've seen those on YouTube. They're quite popular these days. So please join my Patreon and get access to all the cool sketches and graphic novels and previews and storyboards and eventually animations coming up very soon. Also, you can follow me on social media: Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter, basically. So we have pretty much daily updates on there. So if you want to keep abreast of everything that's going on, I would love to have you. Also, please subscribe and click the button or the bell for notification. Thank you. I'll talk to you in a few days.